this thing is dangerous. And we don't face it. You can't have real joy unless you face the real danger. Yeah.
Do you think that the ego may have come into being as a means of survival or an aid to survival?
You know, it's very funny because I remember hearing this guy, and he was talking about 30,000 years ago is what he was talking about. You know, I look at that, and I'll listen to anything. It doesn't matter. I don't need to believe it or not believe it, or adhere to it or not adhere to it. That's inevitable. I'm just going to be myself. But I can listen to it. So I'm sitting there, and what he said was pretty stunning. He said, you figure like 30,000 years ago, there was some kind of trauma that human beings underwent, which caused them to shatter. And their being kind of went into hiding. And that they were kind of given, if you will, as a means for survival and ego. And they accepted it and became cavemen, and then, you know, the whole thing. So we were actually brilliant before that. That we were totally present prior to that. And when we became totally not present because of whatever trauma, it was so big that it rippled across the entire planet. The sun changed directions, started going the opposite direction. Everything just went sideways. And we've been living in that ever since. Right? But to me, that it still reeks of someone came here, caused a trauma, to trick people into accepting something that was not them as them. Because if I can convince you that you're not a spirit that's going to live on and on and on, that you have a presence that is God-given, if I can convince you that doesn't exist, then you're going to be thirsty for whatever I tell you does. Aren't you? And you'll buy into it because it's being handed over with a sandwich and a bottle of water. Push people far enough. You know, and there, to me, yeah, there are predators out there that we can't see. Not with human eyes. They lurk around us all the time. You feel them occasionally. They're ghosts. Oh, please. Ghosts from the past. No, they're not. They're entities present right now. Don Juan referred to them as inorganic beings. They're not made of matter. Yet they have an energy, they have a presence, and they have a lifespan. And they have an intention, and they have an agenda, just like any other being would. And it's just not, some of them, it's just not good. Right? Because you figure, okay, it's one of the most pleasant experiences in this universe is being in a body. I know it seems bullshit. It's hell. Yeah, no, it's not. One of the most pleasant experiences is being here in the body. Feeling in this way. Because it's so rich, so colorful. Right. If you'd never had one, and you saw how wonderful it was, from a state of clarity, you saw how wonderful it was, wouldn't you want that? You would. You'd figure out a way to subjugate that. I want that. How? It's kind of like, okay, you meet a guy you like. You want him. Doesn't that change your behavior a little bit? Does that make you behave differently? Yes, it does. You start to shine more. You know what I'm saying? It's the same thing. They want that. So they're going to, hey, look at me. Come over here. Eat me, drink me. I'm going to be your best friend. Right? And then they eat you. It's so hard to talk about because people go, that is so out there. But it's not. What do you understand about consciousness? What do you understand about this thing looking out of your eyes? Anybody on this planet, your knowledge of that, true knowledge of that, is very limited. There may be some others in some other part of the galaxy or some other galaxy within some other universe that's been alive a hell of a lot longer than you have and has seen pretty much all of it. But still is bitter. And knows more than you do. Do you think it could come in and start messing with you without you even realizing you're being messed with? I think so. That's the scariest part of the entire trip. That is why no one is making it. That's why all these guys can run around and build all these goddamn centers and charge thousands and thousands of dollars and put on their Gucci and write their books and do their whole thing. It's not a bad thing. Please, more the better. Let's all do that. But no matter how much that goes on, it didn't change anything. Because we don't realize we're being. We think that the thing that's going to take that information in and process it is going to do it right, and we're suddenly going to be free and happy and enlightened. Bullshit. If that were true, it would have happened already. Because thousands, millions of those books have been written for a very long time. We're all still in a mess. So how does it work then? How do you understand you're being messed with? Very easy. Be in the present. Because the only place they can actually mess with you at is right now. And how do they do it? Well, they keep you inside of your mind. All your life force is channeled through your mind, through your opinions, through your likes, through your dislikes, through your senses, through your mind, through that ego. There it is. Right? And it's filtering everything. So it's not present. So while you're basically out to lunch, they're feasting on you presently. You don't know what's going on because you're still out to lunch. You're not right now. So the warrior moves into the present moment and sees what he has to deal with. There. Sees what kind of environment he's actually in. And stops pretending he's in this other one. Realizes where he's actually standing. Right? Because some people could think, I'm standing in a green meadow full of flowers. And in reality, if you were to clean the shit off their eyes, they're standing at the cliff about to take a nosedive. Right? You can't think your way through this. It's not fast enough anyway. It's the presence, it's the energetic. It's the being itself. It gets empowered by the present moment. It's when it calms all that activity down. It just centers itself right now. It empowers it. And what's really cool about that is, in a way, you get to still have your life. You will always make a little bit of a sacrifice to have this life. There's no way around it. But you still can have this and that at the same time. Right? For me, I mean, I'll be honest, and I don't mean this in an egotistical way at all. There's less and less time I spend outside of it. So I've had to learn how to be present in the moment, and then learn how to stay there, and then learn how to mingle on this planet with other people and still be there. Right? So I get to keep a life that I think most people don't get to. You got to run to a monastery. You got to get in a cave. You got to put on a robe and have tons of people follow you around and watch your every maneuver and move. That's how it's always been done. But to feel that way and yet remain not solitary, but to have your how would I put it? Because it's not really about being solitary. Your presence is yours. It's not a part of anyone else's in that sense. It's not composed of what someone else gave you. It's composed of who you are. You understand what I mean by that? So what is the present moment? See, what I try to do is to get people to rally themselves up by taking their mind on all kinds of zigzags. So they rally themselves up, and bam, there they are. Oh shit, I'm actually here.